Once upon a time, in a peaceful little valley town called Sunnybrook, there lived a kind and cheerful girl named Lila. Lila had lost her parents when she was only a baby, so she was raised by her loving aunt, Aunt Myra. Aunt Myra cared for Lila deeply. She played games with her, told her bedtime tales, and even hummed soft little lullabies. But as the years passed, Aunt Myra's work changed. She received a job offer in a faraway city, a place too busy and crowded for a small child. After thinking long and hard, she remembered Grandfather Rowan, who lived high in the Emerald Peaks. He lived alone in a wooden cabin and was known to be a bit quiet and grumpy. Still, Aunt Myra believed that the peaceful mountains her wise old father would give Lila a happy life close to nature. So one bright morning, they packed their bags and started a long journey upward. The road curved through tall pine trees. Birds chirped from the branches, and the mountain breeze danced through the leaves. Lila didn't know exactly where they were headed, but her eyes sparkled with wonder the whole way. At last, a cozy cabin appeared on the mountaintop. This was Grandfather Rowan's home. Aunt Myra held Lila's hand as they walked toward the cabin, and just like that, a brand new chapter of Lila's life began. Even though Rowan lived alone and rarely smiled, he felt a quiet happiness when he saw Lila, though he carefully hid it behind his beard and silence. After a warm goodbye, Aunt Myra left, promising to visit soon. Rowan prepared a small bed for Lila in the loft, right under a window full of stars. That night, she fell asleep watching the sky glow. Rowan told her that whenever a star fell, she should make a wish. So Lila closed her eyes and wished for good things for everyone she loved. The next morning, Lila woke to a giant furry shape next to her bed. She sat up quickly, then laughed with delight. It was Rusty, Grandfather's big, gentle mountain dog with floppy ears and a wiggly tail. Lila hugged him immediately, and the two became friends at once. Lila followed Rusty everywhere. She explored around the cabin, ran from buzzing bees, and chased colorful butterflies. Soon she grew used to life in the mountains, the green hills, the wildflowers, and the fresh wind. One sunny afternoon, on a slope covered with clover, Lila met Finn, a young goat herder from the nearby ridge. When Finn first saw her bouncing happily through the grass, he wondered, is she a forest fairy or a new friend? Lila's smile answered everything. They quickly became best friends. The next morning, Finn took his goats out to graze, and Lila ran after him, calling, "Wait for me." As they wandered the mountain paths, the goats hopped along playfully, and Lila tried her best to keep up. She tripped sometimes, laughed at squirrels, and felt amazed watching Finn talk to the goats like they understood every word. Finn taught her how to walk the trails safely when goats rest and how to call them gently. Lila learned so fast that soon she could have managed her own herd. Summer passed with laughter echoing across the hills. At home, Lila helped Grandfather Rowan cook and even bake small round mountain breads in his stone oven. She always brought extra for Finn's grandmother, who would offer her warm goat milk in return. But when winter arrived and snow covered the peaks, Finn went off to school in the valley. Lila grew lonely. She wished she could learn to read and write too. Just then, Aunt Myra returned. She wanted to take Lila to the city so she could study. At first, Grandfather Rowan was upset. He didn't want to lose Lila, but after some thought, he agreed education would give her a better future. Though she didn't want to leave, Lila trusted her aunt and went with her. After a long train ride, they reached a large home in Maple Bridge City. There Lila met Elsa, a gentle girl who used a wheelchair because of an accident in her childhood. Aunt Myra had brought Lila there to be Elsa's companion and friend. The two girls quickly bonded, but life in the big city was confusing for Lila. She didn't know much about city manners. Elsa's grandmother, Lady Maris, was strict. She taught Lila everything from how to sit properly to how to use a fork and knife. Elsa helped her learn reading and writing. Though the city offered many new things, Lila missed Grandfather Rowan, Rusty, and the open mountains. She longed for home so deeply that she lost her appetite and grew quiet. Seeing this, Elsa's family decided it would be best to send her back. Elsa cried when she heard the news, but her grandmother told her, loving someone means wanting them to be where they belong. On the day of farewell, Aunt Myra promised Lila that Elsa would visit in the summer. When Lila returned to the mountains, her heart overflowed with joy. She visited Finn's house first, delivered the bread Elsa sent, and left her fancy clothes there. Then she raced home and hugged Grandfather Rowan tightly. Rusty jumped and licked her face happily. A few weeks later, Elsa arrived in the mountains, and she loved it instantly. Lila introduced her to Finn. Elsa and Finn liked each other, but Finn felt uneasy. A fear grew inside him. What if Lila likes Elsa more? What if she leaves again? Then Finn saw Elsa's wheelchair. A thought he later regretted entered his mind. If this chair wasn't here, maybe things would stay the same. When no one was watching, he pushed the chair slightly. It rolled down the slope and broke into pieces. The moment he saw it shatter, guilt hit him deeply. Without her wheelchair, Elsa was scared at first, but Lila held her hand every day. Together, they practiced walking just a little bit at a time. Slowly, Elsa's legs grew stronger. Then, one bright morning, she stood up and took a few steps on her own. She threw her arms around Lila. I did it. Thanks to you. When Lady Maris came and saw Elsa standing, she burst into happy tears and thanked Grandfather Rowan and Lila. Finn, overwhelmed with guilt, admitted what he had done. Elsa and Lila forgave him because true friendship grows stronger when someone is brave enough to say, I was wrong. After that, the three became closer than ever. Their laughter echoed across the mountains. When Elsa and her grandmother left, they promised to return every summer because real friendships, once they begin, last forever.